Hello, explorers of your inner universe. My name is Anaya, and on this channel, we explore psychology and work on our personal growth together. In today's video, we are breaking down a psychological trap that prevents us from living happy lives. We'll talk about the Karpman Drama Triangle, a dangerous relationship model that every second person falls into, often without even realizing it. If you've noticed that the same conflicts keep repeating in your relationships, if you feel like you're constantly switching between the roles of the victim, the rescuer, and the persecutor, this video is for you. We'll break down how this triangle works, the roles each participant plays, and most important, we'll figure out how to break free from it. Let's go. First, let's break down what the Karpman Drama Triangle is. The Karpman Drama Triangle is a model described by psychologist Stephen Karpman. It shows how people get drawn into toxic relationships by unconsciously playing three roles: the victim, the rescuer, and the persecutor. The victim is a person who constantly suffers, complains, and feels helpless. It's typical for the victim to be unable to achieve what they could have achieved if they were free from this behavioral pattern. The victim desires to control the persecutor, but often fails. Usually, the victim doesn't believe they can take responsibility for their own life. The victim lives in fear of changing anything in their life to maintain these pathological relationships. The victim needs help from the rescuer. The rescuer is the one who rushes to help even when not asked. The rescuer plays a key role in the Karpman Triangle because without them, the triangle would fall apart. The rescuer gives the victim strength to endure the persecutor's attacks. They think, if I do not intervene, everything will fall apart. But in reality, they only support the victim's dependency, and the victim doesn't strive to change. By helping, the rescuer gets a secondary benefit. They fulfill their need to feel needed, and if their help is rejected, they get angry and can later switch to the role of the persecutor. The persecutor is the aggressor who blames, criticizes, and pressures. Their stance is, it's all your fault, you should suffer. The persecutor needs someone else's sacrificial behavior for their own survival. Only the victim living or consistently changing their behavior can impact the persecutor and alter their pattern. The most dangerous thing is that people in this triangle constantly switching roles. Today you are the rescuer, tomorrow the victim, and the day after tomorrow the persecutor. And so it goes round and round. Let's look at how this works in real life. Imagine a relationship that feels like a roller coaster. One day it's happiness and hope, the next despair and fear. This is how a woman lives whose partner is addicted to alcohol. Her life becomes a constant cycle between the three social roles: victim, rescuer, and the persecutor. First, she is the rescuer. This is her main and, as she sees it, her most correct role. She sees her partner not as an adult, but as a lost child who needs saving. She makes excuses for him to his employer. Oh, sir, my husband is feeling sick and can't come to work today, when in fact he might be lying on a drunken stupor by the toilet. She takes his keys so he cannot drive drunk. She reads articles about treatment, looks for doctors, prepares healthy breakfasts to restore his liver. Her life turns into a mission to save him from the alcohol serpent. She believes that with her love, care, and control, she can heal him. In this role, she feels needed, strong, and kind. But sooner or later, the rescuer gets tired. Her energy is depleted and the miracle doesn't happen. Her partner promises to quit are broken again, and then her role changes sharply. She becomes the persecutor. Her love and care are replaced by anger, reproaches, and ultimatums. I've done so much for you, and you got drunk again. Get a grip, you're a man. If you do not quit, I'll leave. She yells, accuses, tries to force him to change through pressure and threats. In this role, she is driven by rage from her own powerlessness and the pain of betrayal. She thinks that if she pushes harder, he will finally wake up. And then comes the moment when she becomes the victim. The threats didn't work. The fights only made things worse. She feels drained, deceived, trapped. She cries alone, thinking, what an unhappy person I am. Why is this happening to me? I can't do anything. She blames not him, but herself, or the circumstances. She feels completely helpless and desperate. Her own boundaries are destroyed. Her dreams and life are put on hold until better times. The most surprising and terrible moment of this cycle is that it closes, and partner, seeing her tears, might make another promise, ask for forgiveness, and she pitying him and believing in the best, once again puts on the rescuer's cape. The cycle repeats. These aren't just difficult relationships. This is a system where both are locked in their roles. His addiction is fueled by her constant participation, whether it's care, anger, or tears, and her life passes in the shadow of his illness in constant anxiety and loss of herself. There is only one way out: to recognize this game and exit it. Stop being the rescuer who actually enables the dependency. Stop being the persecutor whose threats don't work anymore. And stop being the victim who gave her life for someone else's illness. This means shifting the focus from him to herself, to her own life, her boundaries, her well-being. This is the most difficult and the most necessary step towards freedom. For a clear illustration of the Karpman Triangle in action, I want to turn to the Harry Potter story. Have you ever, while reading or watching Harry Potter, wondered why some conflicts seem so painful and endless? Why smart and powerful characters make one fatal mistake after another? Often the answer lies not in magic but in psychology. Let's analyze one of the most tragic stories through the lens of the Karpman Triangle, which entangled Harry, Sirius Black, and Severus Snape in Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Let's assign the roles. In one corner of our triangle, Harry Potter as the victim. After returning to Hogwarts, everyone thinks he is a liar. He suffers from his connection with Voldemort, is tormented by nightmares and loneliness. He genuinely feels cornered. His rescuer is Sirius Black, trapped in Grimmauld Place. Black sees Harry as his life's purpose. He longs to protect him, be his support, replace his father, but his desire to help often borders on recklessness. Completing the triangle is the persecutor, Severus Snape. Dumbledore tasks him with teaching Harry occlumency, and Snape uses this as an excuse for humiliation, nitpicking, and brutally invading Harry's most personal memories. He is the embodiment of unjust and uncontrolled power in Harry's life. Now watch how this machine starts working. The victim complains to the rescuer about the persecutor. Sirius, in his rescuer role, instantly switches into the persecutor role towards Snape. He boils with rage, calls him a coward, and vows to deal with him. And here, Harry, seeing that his rescuer is ready for recklessness, tries to save him. He begs Sirius not to do anything stupid. The roles instantly swap. Even Snape sees himself as a sort of rescuer, forced to tolerate an ungrateful student for a higher goal. This vicious circle couldn't end well. Voldemort, a master manipulator, feeds the victim Harry a false vision. In panic, he rushes to his rescue through the Flu network. His phrase, "He's got pet food at the place where it's hidden," is the cry of a victim calling for help. Sirius, the rescuer, without a second thought, rushes into the trap. His social role as the rescuer demanded it. It forced him to take that dangerous step. Well, the result is known to everyone familiar with the world of Harry Potter. Sirius's death is not just a result of Voldemort's villainy, it's a direct consequence of the dysfunctional relationships in which all three were hostages to their roles. They weren't bad people, they were simply playing a game whose rules were dictated by a psychological trap. Understanding such models helps us see new, deep layers in a beloved story and perhaps avoid similar triangles in our lives. In the final part of the video, I want to move on a practical advice on how to exit the toxic triangle. The first thing you need to do is become aware of your social role. Ask yourself, am I rescuing, blaming, or complaining right now? The second step is to break the cycle. If you are the rescuer, tell the victim, "I believe you can handle this yourself," and don't offer help unasked. If a request for help does come, assess your resources and capacity to prove it. When helping people who feel helpless, try to instill confidence in them that they can cope with their difficulties on their own. To exit the triangle, it's crucial for the rescuer not to take responsibility for the victim's life and decisions. If you are the victim, you need to realize that participating in the Karpman Drama Triangle brings you secondary benefits, namely you receive sympathy from others and revel in self-pity. You gain control by playing on the guilt and evoke in those around you. However, these are all unhealthy mechanisms that in real life often lead the victim to negative consequences. Destructive behavior, eating disorders, sexual dysfunction, feelings of loneliness are also negative consequences as the victim induces guilt in others. It's also important to understand that a victim breeds new victims and attracts persecutors. To break free from this negative role, the victim must recognize their role and ask themselves, what can I do to fix this situation? The victim will have to learn to take responsibility for their life, for making decisions, for financial and everyday problems, for emotional instability, and so on. The victim also needs to build up accumulate and replenish their own resources. If you are the persecutor, to exit the toxic role, you need to monitor your reactions, control your behavior, avoid talking down to people, and refrain from giving unsolicited advice. Often people want support, not a detailed action plan. It's also important to avoid criticism, blame, and insisting on your point of view at all costs, suppressing the other people. And of course, never use physical force against another person. If necessary, the persecutor might find itself by practicing relaxing breathing and meditation techniques. Friends, the Karpman Drama Triangle is not a life sentence. The moment you become aware of it, you can choose to keep playing or exit the game. Try to notice which role you find yourself in most often this week and write in the comments. It's important for me to know what was useful for you. If you like the video, give it a thumb up and subscribe. We will be breaking down other psychological traps. And if you have a topic you'd like to discuss, write in the comments. See you in new videos. Take care of yourselves and your boundaries.